So, tricky subject now. OnlyFans, or the true fans that you do. How did that come about? And tell me what. So, I'm interested really in your mindset. Hello and welcome to another episode of Fat Sounds Podcast. Tonight we've got a bit of a treat. We have got Trucker Babe, Christina the Trucker Babe from Instagram. Say hello, Christina.
Hey guys.
So, listen, I've got you on because obviously you are a bit of an up-and-comer on Instagram, newly on TikTok. Got your 1,000 subs on TikTok as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I got it in like 3 days. I was doing a challenge with my daughter. It started off as a bit of fun.
I feel like you've got an advantage.
Why?
I feel like you've got an advantage. I just do. We'll cover that a bit later. So your name is Christina, and where are you from, Christina?
I'm from North London, Islington. Grew up here my whole life.
Oh, okay. So I spent a couple of years when I was a kid living with my nan in just off of Holloway Road, a road called Jackson Road.
Oh yeah, we're not that far from them, like 10 minutes away.
There's a McDonald's on the corner now.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
So I lived down there for a while, so I know the area well. There's one thing I will say is I lived in South London, and the kebabs in South London just don't taste the same as the kebabs in North London. I don't know what it is.
Best kebabs in North London because all the Turks live there and the Greeks.
This is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So So anyway, so you're from North London. Now you're a trucker. You don't look like a trucker, and this is what we're going to talk about tonight: is breaking stereotypes, finding out a bit about you. So let's start from the beginning.
So my love of passion and stuff like for vehicles came from my parent, like my dad and my brother. So growing up, I've always been a petrol head. We always had like go-karts, scramblers. We always had stuff that was fast and adrenaline and stuff like that. So when I left home, I had a baby when I was 19, and I was thinking, what can I do? And I had jobs before, but they were just like normal like jobs that you're doing when you leave school and stuff. I didn't go to university or college or anything, and I thought, I'm gonna try driving instructing. So I became a driving instructor for about a year, and it was just boring. I just hated being a passenger. I just liked being in the driving seat. So after that, I applied to be a bus driver, and I worked the service routes for 2 years.
Yeah,
the London buses. Yeah, I worked the London buses for 2 years. And I left there, and then I started driving coaches for social services in Islington.
Nice.
And transporting disabled kids, elderly people, and I stayed there for 3 years. And I had a friend that drove trucks where I'm currently at now, and he was like, "Oh, come over. We've never had a girl driver at our company. We've been running for nearly 100 years. Come over." And that's where it started, really.
So what was it like driving buses in London as like a young pretty woman? Like, how old was you then? Like 20, 22, something like that?
I think I was about 23 or 4 when I started doing
What was that like? Did you get a lot of grief?
I never really got any real grief. Like, obviously so I used to do a 73 route, a 253 route, and a 67, but I never really used to do the 67. I used to really be on the 73 and the 253. The 73, you'd get all the toffs going to work who thought they were entitled. They wouldn't give you no ag. They would just moan all the time. And on the 253, you'd get the rough-uns. You would, going from Hackney Central to Euston. Ooh. And that was the bus that you always see the trouble on. And I never really used to get ag, but what I did used to see was mothers fighting over the pram space.
No.
Yeah, they would literally go toe to toe. So as far as like driving the bus, no, it's fine. But having to split warring mums up, that was like an everyday thing.
What is that about? What is that about? So what's the strangest thing you saw on the buses?
Oh God. Probably someone taking a crap on the back of the bus.
Who does that?
A lot of people. A lot of people.
Really?
It is so common.
No.
That, and there's and another thing that you probably would think that you wouldn't get. You get men sitting behind young girls doing their business over the girls.
What?
It's mad.
What in London? Like, I know for a fact
It's
that
common.
young girls now will turn around and fight you if you was doing that. If
Yeah. It's like, the thing is, buses all have cameras now, so the majority of the time, like if I used to see a young girl getting on the bus on her own, young children always go upstairs and they sit on the back of the bus.
Yeah.
So they'd become targets to men, and it'd be often that I'd see it happening, and I'd have to stop the bus and go upstairs and say, mate, move down the bus, otherwise I'm going to call the police. Yeah, it's really bad, really bad.
Wow. Like how often does that occur?
It's really common. It's really common, to the point where men will they will do their business behind them and try to put it on them.
This is new. Wait, hold on a minute. This is new information to me.
It's true. It's really common as well. It's really bad.
And how many of them get nicked?
A fair few if the drivers see it. Sometimes it isn't until people go to get off. They're like, "What is this on my clothes?" It's mad. Like, it's a crazy world out there.
I'm speechless.
No.
That is rare for me to be speechless. So we're fast forward now. You're into the trucking now. What? Yeah. So I know my dad used to be a driving lorry driver. Then he done the lorry driving instructing for a while. So it's a pretty tough test, though, isn't it? To get your actual what do they call it? Is it HGV now or
HGV
LGV?
Class 2. So I've got HGV Class 2.
So that's articulated, isn't it?
No. I drive Class 2, so I don't drive articulated. So
what is that like? Like your first day out on the road? Do you have to
truck?
do all the? Yeah.
So learning to drive the truck was like a 4-day course, and for me, I didn't find it hard at all, because I'm confident in driving. I'm good at it. I know I'm good at it. And I personally found it easy, but there's a lot of people that go on that test that cannot pass it. Like, it doesn't matter what they do.
And is that because, like, obviously you've grown up like as a petrol head? You've driven probably most things since you was about 10 years old.
Yeah, so my dad's from Cyprus, so we'd go to Cyprus in summer, and I'd drive the car around the village. He'd try to teach me how to drive. He'd be screaming at me in Greek, and I'd be like, "Oh mate, is this what it's going to be like to be a driver?" So I'd go get in the car when he weren't awake. I'd get up at like 5 o'clock and go and just drive the car around the village.
And the thing is, you're not getting nicked out there for that at all.
No.
No one really cares.
No one
really cares. Man.
Out there, if out there, it's like, "Oh, I'm not driving today because I've been drinking." Oh, you don't drink and drive.
Brilliant.
It's crazy.
Brilliant. Listen, I'm gonna let you into a little secret. There's one thing I love the most in the world, and obviously being a fat man, I'm on a constant diet, so at the moment I can't get it. Right? But it's taramasalata.
Oh yeah, it's good.
My God, like I'm an addict for it. Like, honestly,
so good.
I'll have 3 or 4 pots in the fridge at any one time.
I'm like that with the hummus though.
With hummus, you know what I like to do? Pita bread, hummus, taramasalata, chop up little onions, fine onions, sprinkle it on top. You know, you're talking to a fat man when he's showing you the moves.
It's good. It's good stuff. I'm a proper foodie as well. I love it.
It's bad, man. It's bad. I don't know if you've paid attention to the podcast at all. We are doing a 28-day challenge during February. There's some of the listeners to the podcast have joined in, got a WhatsApp group, and we are not eating between we only eat between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. We're up at 5, 1 mile run, 10 press ups, 10 burpees. cold shower, and then
God.
and then don't eat till 1 o'clock. It's
Everything
hard.
was all right until I heard the cold shower.
Yeah, do you know what though? People always say that, but what you do, you turn the shower right down.
Yeah.
Right, no, so you turn the shower normal, so you have your normal shower,
I need
and then
gradually. I like it like that. Yeah.
No. You only do gradually if you're a bitch. Yeah.
I'm a
So
bitch, man, when it comes to a shower.
I turn that shit right round. I'm ready to go.
God.
But I thought I was quite hard. And then the other day, my mate Neil said to me, "I've just been showering in the cold." Is it like?
You've just been doing a little blast at the end.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. But so let's get more into the old truck driving. What's it like? So do you do like the long distance? Yeah, like, because I know you have a taco and all that sort of stuff. Probably not the same as what it used to be, but you can only drive for a certain amount of time. Like, listen, I live in Kent now, yeah. And I was driving back and I had to pull over in one of the lay-bys. And I was a bit like, it's a bit weird down here.
Well, I don't really do long distance because obviously I'm just working for a local builders merchants.
Oh, nice.
So I just really work within the M25 within London. I go to like Bedford and places like that sometimes, which is like on the outskirts. But because of the taco driving hours, you're right, we can only drive for a certain amount of hours, and then we need to take a rest.
But have you like had to stop in the lay-bys and stuff? They're weird places, aren't they? Like you ain't trying to hang out there for too long, are you?
I don't know. I'm not really. I don't get scared by things, to be honest.
Oh, all right. But
I'm a trucker. What do you think? I'm not one of these girly girls with pink nails. Well, I do have nails on at work, actually. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not one of those girls that I'm like, oh no, fucking hell.
But are you so? Like, obviously, you're quite a rarity. But I've done my research today, and I've put in something like big rig chicks or something, and I was looking. There's a lot of like attractive females in the trucking game now.
Girls in the trucking game, yeah.
Listen, I'm not allowed to say that.
And we're good at it as well.
Eh?
We're good at it as well.
This is what I hear. Like, do you remember Ice Road Truckers?
Yeah.
The woman on that, she was like the best trucker out of them all.
Yeah.
So
girls, I think with girls, we care about what we're doing. We take our time. Well, not really even taking our time, but we just want to deliver properly. We want things to be good. We want people to like what we're doing.
Do you feel like you have more to prove?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Is that what drives you?
Yeah, that along with a lot of other factors of people. You'd think that when you go to a job, you'd have people cheering you on, but they want you to fail, man. They don't want you to win, which is really disappointing.
That's such a strange mentality for me. So I'm a sparking. Obviously, a lot of sparky females coming out now. There's loads. Like honestly, from Jade
the Plumber. Well, she's not sparky, but there's Jade the Plumber. I love Jade. I do.
So I spoke to. Do you know Mr. London Plumber?
Yep. I know.
Yeah. So he was my guest last week. He's hooked me up to interview Jade the Plumber. So she's next. Well, no, she's not next. She's on the book, so she's coming. She's going to be doing a podcast with us. Do you have like a little group of women in the trades, if you like? Because although trucking's not really considered a trade, it is a trade. Sort of, yeah, you're there or thereabouts. Listen, it's as much a trade as painting. All right, I'm just going to say it. So do you have like a little like?
So yeah, actually, like I actually spoke to Jade not long ago, actually, because it's mad that you asked me to come on here because I have been trying to set up a podcast, because I want to have all women come on and I want to rotate it every week, get a new set of women come in every week and share their stories, and it's mainly about negative. We want to, because I work on LinkedIn and there's a few posts that I put up and you always get one man come up that thinks your posts are, you're trying to outshine men. Like, I just want all men to know if we're doing something and we put something up, it's not because we're trying to out challenge you or we're trying to dim the light on men. We're just literally showing how proud we are of ourselves. It's not competition for us, and I think that's where it gets lost sometimes.
I think you're right. I think social media is such a funny thing. So I've been doing podcasts for a long time. So I've got another podcast, the Monday Club. That's for electricians. Done like 100 shows on that. Now, I'm quite heavily involved in social media in terms of I've got a presence within the electrical, and 95% of it is positive. But it's that 5% that comes along.
That's what
and
it
it
is.
can really get you down as well. Like
it can be soul destroying. Can be. I mean, you know, Jade. She, not to talk on her business or anything, but I have seen people being nasty to her online about her work, and it's like, and it's from a grown man, and it's just like, dude, like, come on.
See, this is what happens. She's still an apprentice plumber, isn't she?
I'm not too sure on the ins and outs.
I think she is, or she's just come out of her time. Like, people should be supporting that. Like, she's gone out.
They should be like, if you need anything, give me a call. I'll help.
But what you do get is, we get it in the sparking trade as well. Like, you get people on there that just want to go on and tear down someone else's work to make them look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's weird because you're like, why are people supporting this idiot? Because they get like likes and stuff. You're like, who's liking that? Why are you liking that?
Because they're haters themselves and they're unhappy with their own lives as well.
It is a strange thing. It's a very strange thing when, like, it's called virtue signaling, isn't it? No, that's something different. But anyway, when people going on there mocking other people's work, I find it unnecessary. Do you know what? I've found myself doing negative comments before and just gone, why?
Why am I doing that?
Yeah, and then delete it. And I'm just not like just, I haven't sent it. I'm writing it out, and I'm like, oh, that's wrong, and you're a bit of a dickhead. And you're like, why am I doing that?
Right, yeah, because it can destroy someone's confidence, and that's what makes us good at what we do, the confidence. I mean, since I've started my Trucker Babe Instagram, I could show you some messages that you would be like, what the actual hell? How did someone even, to the point where they talk about my child? It's awful.
Well, you'd be surprised actually, because one of the things that I've tried to do, and this is a bit virtue signaling, but it's not. I've tried to encourage. So I've got a friend of mine called Amy the Spark, or Amy.
Oh yeah, I think I follow her as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a friend of mine. She does a podcast with me, and she's had some, like, again, not to talk on her business, but she's had some terrible times. Listen, I can't really talk about it. It's not mine to talk about. But when she decides to talk about her story, people are going to be shocked, utterly shocked. It's mental. And it's even funny, like, I've wanted to message you for a while, but I'm like, how do I message her without sounding like, hi, want to come on my podcast? Do you know what I mean? Like, like, because I bet you get so much like sleazy behavior,
but equally I get quite a lot of good stuff as well. A lot of positive movements have come my way since I've been trucking, which is good.
Did you get a lot of job offers?
Yeah, I get loads of job offers. Yeah.
See, be very careful about your job offers. That's all I say, because that's Amy's story. She got offered a job, and it was just a nightmare. Well,
I'm in a bit of a position at the moment, but I'll come back on a later day and we'll talk about that.
Definitely. Maybe we'll get Amy on as well, and you guys can talk about it. She's got her own podcast as well. You might enjoy to go on. But so, what's it like? Do you earn well as a truck driver? Like, I don't need you don't have to talk figures, but like, as a Spark, we do all right. But I'm curious.
It's okay. Like, it could be better. But
we all say that though.
It's okay for now. Like, it's I'm not struggling or anything. I don't go without. My kids got everything she wants and stuff like that. But it's not bad. It's not a bad wage. It's better than a lot of people are on at the moment. And how I see it is, we're lucky we're still even in a job at the moment.
Yeah, true. I've not worked for 3 weeks. I'm self-employed, but I do contracting, and I've been to a few jobs. And I'm just like, these aren't for me. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm so over working rubbish jobs now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just won't do it. So you're doing very well with the truck driving and all that. You still living in North London?
Yeah, I live in North London, just me and my daughter. So she's 11.
Nice. So, tricky subject now. OnlyFans, or the true fans that you do. How did that come about? And tell me what. So I'm interested really in your mindset. Like, where did that come from? Like, how that idea? What made you think, you know what, I'm going to do that? Because I don't know. I have a young daughter, and I think about these things. She's 2 years old, right? Relax. But I'm a bit of a late in life dad. I'm 38. She's 2, and like when you're a bit older and wiser, you start thinking, well, you know, like where's her life going to end up? But I think I have a very different theory about OnlyFans, and I kind of feel like, why not? Kind of thing. If I had a six-pack and stuff, I'd have my own OnlyFans.
So I'm very selective of what I put on those platforms anyway. I'm not an OnlyFans content girl that literally does hardcore stuff.
No.
It's for me, it's very soft. It's more like lingerie, topless, page free kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, what it was is I'm sick of working for people who don't respect me, who don't have any care for my welfare. So I want to open up my own company. So the only way I'm going to be able to save those amount of monies is by doing something like that. And I had a friend that was on True Fans, and I just thought, when I was seeing it in articles and I was seeing girls are making 100 grand in a year or 100 grand in a month or whatever like that, I was thinking there's no way that could be true. Yeah. So I messaged one of my friends and I was like, look, I don't want to know like how much you're making or anything, but can you just give me an estimate, like what you've made in a month? And she was like, I've made 6,000. And I was just like, what? So it started like that. And then I dithered with it for a little while because I was always anti OnlyFans. I was always anti women showing their body because I was like, women, we should have respect for ourselves. Otherwise, no one's good. As I've got older, it's come from my body does not define me, and some of the things that I've been through, I lost a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing this, it was mainly like just to see if people would be interested and see if I could become more body confident with my own body. Obviously, when you have a baby, like you obviously lose that confidence a little bit anyway. So I went on there and. Within a month, I'd made nearly £10,000. Well, $10,000.
Really?
Yeah. So now I've only been doing it for 5 weeks, and I've got in my bank nearly 10 grand. And the company takes 20% of that as well. So.
Wow.
So now I'm just saving for my company. And I'm hoping to be able to save 100 grand by the end of the year.
Do you know what? When you hear things like that, and if you do it right, why wouldn't you do it? Do you know what I mean? It's like
the content I put on there isn't seedy, it isn't trashy, it isn't like, it's just normal page free stuff like what you would see in the newspaper, in the Sun newspaper all those years ago.
Let me ask you a cheesy question.
A little bit of twerking videos where you shake your ass and all that. It's nothing crazy at all.
So let me ask you a question. Like, it's cheesy, but would you say you're a feminist?
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm not one of those army-barmy ones where we're like, oh, women rights. I'm more like, I just feel like we need a break, mate.
Like, because I see it. Obviously, having a daughter, you see things so differently, right? So I've got a younger sister, and she's living in Dubai at the moment. She's crazy.
Love that.
She's crazy, but she went out there with 3 grand in her pocket and made a life for herself, and she's killing it. But she's got a fantastic story, and she's going to be doing a podcast with me when she's back next.
You doing OnlyFans?
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't want to know.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's living in Dubai as well. I've got a few friends that live in Dubai.
Hey, listen, don't talk about my sister, man. No, do you know what? She's
Yeah, it's good on her.
Listen, I don't. It's a funny thing trying to ratify it as a dad, and like, how do you ratify it? Like, how do you sort of come to terms with it in terms of like, people will judge you for it. Now, closed-minded people will.
They ain't got a pot to piss in, mate. That's all I look at it.
That's what my sister would say.
They ain't got pot to, the only people that are going to have anything to say about me is the people that ain't got pot to piss in.
See,
Who is going to leave my daughter something when I die? If I don't have anything, she is going to struggle the exact same way I've struggled. And for 31 years, mate, I've struggled. I do not want her to have a life that I've had.
See, I find it amazing. I really do. I'm a fan of that sort of like fighting spirit.
I'll do anything to make sure she's got a better life. I'll do anything.
I love that fighting spirit, man. So what does feminism mean to you, if you like? Like, you're out there. So I heard this comment the other day, a body positive feminist.
Yeah. Do you know what? But since before getting an OnlyFans, like there was things like I wanted to do, like I wanted to like get a boob job because I was unhappy with. Since I've started doing this, I don't want to change my body at all. Like it's been positive in so many different ways. Like your body in your head might not be how you think people look at it, but to other 100, 200, 300 or whatever people, that they might like that. That might be their type.
So what you're saying is it's earning you money. It's boosted your confidence through the roof.
Boosted my confidence.
You love your body again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And only dickheads to judge her. So where's the downside?
The only downside is that maybe my kid might grow up and think, oh, why did my mum do that? There is a downside to it. Like I can't say, oh, like there isn't a downside to it. There is. Like people could say stuff to her like, oh, your mum gets her tits out on OnlyFans, but then she could turn around and say, yeah, your mum ain't got pot to piss in. Now piss off.
It's a powerful mentality. I've got to be honest with you. It's a powerful mentality. Like, have you always been like quite? Because obviously you've broken stereotypes on a number of different levels.
I've been rebellious.
No, but like if you think about it, so you've gone like as a young lady, you've gone and become a truck driver. You're obviously tatted up, which is again, what do they call it? Alternative culture.
Yeah.
So you've gone and got tatted up, and like you're doing the OnlyFans and stuff like that. Like, what makes you tick?
So when I was growing up, my mum was in an abusive relationship, like a severe one. It lasted my entire childhood, and it was something that I locked up in a box for a long time. And like I did things like getting tattoos, and they were just like, I think they were just like my coping mechanism. Like I used to just say what I wanted. I didn't give a shit. And just be quite like rebellious, but not like rebellious in a bad way. Just thick-skinned and whatever. And I always said to myself, like, I'll never let any men treat me the way he treated my mum. And I always said, like, when I have a kid, I would never allow any man to behave the way he behaved around my kid. Like, I would just not allow it. And it's just how I've gone through life, like just headstrong and saying I'm gonna make sure she has the best upbringing. Like, there's a lot of women that will like have a different man every month, or like that's never been the case with my daughter. Like, I've only been in a relationship with her dad, and then I was engaged to another man, and she's 11 years old. And other than that, like I haven't had any other partners come and live in my house, and it's just been me and her. So for me, what makes me tick is just to make sure she has the best life ever. We travel loads. Like last year not last year, the year before, we went traveling around Thailand, backpacking together.
Wow.
So I just my kid is my motivation. I just focus on her.
So that's a powerful motivation. Certainly because you had her when you was not young, like, but 19's young enough. You're still
Yeah.
like at 19, I couldn't have had a kid at 19. I
thought
a
I knew
lunatic.
who I was at 19. I thought I knew who I was at 19. It wasn't until like I got to 30 and I was like, shit, I'm actually grown up now.
Mate, it's so funny. Like I've had my struggles. I've talked about them on my podcast, so I won't rinse and repeat it on this one. I've had my struggles. I've been, you know, I only sorted my life out when I met my wife Amanda now, and it wasn't until I moved to this house now that we've got here. I moved down the coast during lockdown, the first lockdown. I just got out of London, moved down the coast, and yeah, I wasn't until we was living here, and I was like, got my dog, got my wife, got my baby. I was like,
that's when you know when you've made it, when you've got a dog and you've got a nice house, you've got a car with a car rack on it.
I've got a car rack as well. And I was just like, we got our cars outside, and I was just like, I'm a grown up. When did this happen?
Yeah.
It's mental, isn't it? And so I can identify with what you're saying. It's a funny old thing growing up, isn't it? Like if I look back at when I was 19 and I'm like that, Jesus, I don't even know how I'm here today. And you must look back at your 19-year-old
How
self.
did I survive some of those situations?
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? So what's the future hold? Like, so obviously you've got this plan. You want to start up a trucking company, is that right, or what?
Yeah. So I've just been training to do my my digger ticket as well, which was handed to me by a company called Doctore. They're based in the West Midlands, and they just saw me on LinkedIn and they said that we want to give you the opportunity to get this ticket. Do you want to come over? We see you're a hard worker. So I was like, yeah, cool. Like, went over, done a little bit of training last week, studying for my theory test at the moment. I'm going to go back up there and finish it maybe next week or so. So that's another thing. I'm trying to get more into the groundwork section for myself, just to push myself and break more stereotypes down. But yeah, the main goal for me is to have the Trucker Babe company with my pink trucks and all girl drivers.
You reckon that's a thing, yeah?
It's going to be a thing.
I love it. I'll send Harper to come and work for you when she's old enough.
Love that. Yeah, definitely. I want to do like in-house training as well. So if I want to like be able to scout girls and say, listen, we believe in you. Come over here. Come and work for us.
Basically apprenticeships and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I want them to work in a safe environment because, like I said, I've worked in some environments and I haven't been safeguarded, and I've been.
Actually, let's dig into that a bit. Like, we won't go too far because I know
there's
other things going on. I kind of know what you mean to a certain extent, because when you got like, are you talking about round building sites and that sort of mentality?
Yeah, or like, like, and just like with the things that some people say to you and the way they behave, and
then the fact that no one actually cares.
So my thing is, men. So a thing that I heard was something happened to me at work, and I heard that colleagues were saying, "What did she expect coming to work here?" Like,
what?
Just because I'm working with all men, I don't expect to be leeched on, and I don't expect to be this, that, and the other, whatever. But it's like, it's almost as, you know, you should expect men to behave like that around you because you've come to work with all men.
It's a funny mindset, that, because
it's horrible. It's rapey, mate.
You're not wrong. Listen, you said it. You're not wrong. I think that's like a bit of a problem within the not electrical industry, like construction industry and the trades industries and like these, you know, working class industries. It's like, it's almost like, well, she's working with geezers, what she expects. Well, why can't we just be gentlemen about it? Like, you're not asking for people to go, hello, madam, and hold a door open for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I love banter as well. Like, I know how to have a banter, but when the tone changes and it becomes weird and it cringes you out a little bit, that's when you're overstepping the mark. Like,
yeah, What do you think? And do you know, for me, the biggest problem with that is you'll go to like a boss, and that person will be doing a bit of a rush job or something. The person who said something horrible to you will be important, or the boss's mate, or the boss's mate's son, or something.
They don't give a toss, mate.
They don't care. They
They
don't
don't care.
No,
Yeah?
it's a funny thing. They talk about health and safety, and they talk about working mental health and all that.
They don't give a toss. They want you to work. They want you to work on time, and they couldn't give a shit how you're feeling.
This is a massive problem at the moment for a lot of people working. Like, because people working through COVID, building sites are still open. Like, building merchants are still open. Everything's still going on.
When lockdown first happened, the first lockdown, remember, I'm a single parent. When the first lockdown happened, so school closed, I went in to my boss and said, schools are closed. Can I be referred for furlough? No, we're not doing it. So what would you like me to do as a single parent? We'll have to get one of your families to look after. Do you not understand? You're not allowed to mix households. There's a lockdown on. What would you like me to do with my kid? Well, you'll have to take it off unpaid. And it's just like, brilliant.
It's mental, isn't it? It is mental. Like the attitudes, people, and they're not even like, if you went to the top management, they'll be concerned. But it's like that middle management.
I don't know if they would though. I think they're all robots.
Yeah,
you
maybe
must
you're right.
go to work. They're just like that.
I know what you mean, because this is another reason I haven't worked as much, because I'm at a stage in my life now. I ain't trying to be spoken to like that, like they like to speak
That's
to
why
you.
I'm saying I need to open. That's why I'm willing to do the OnlyFans and the TrueFans, because I cannot stay working for these people anymore.
Is there a market for fat men on OnlyFans, do you think?
Mate, there's a market for anything on there.
Fat men.
But you've got to do the helicopter.
That's a problem. No, I don't know, man. Well, I've got my podcast and I've got other things, and so I've not been so desperate to go to work. Like, certainly during the lockdown, I'm meant to be shielded and stuff like that. So I try not to go. And I went to one job not so long ago, and I was just like, why am I here? Why am I doing this to myself? And I expect that's the same sort of feeling you're having at the moment.
When I started that job, I stayed passionate to the end. Like, you can see from my Instagram that I've continued to work all the way through the end and being proud of what I do. But when I first started at this job that I work now, I was the life and soul of that place. Like, anyone will tell you. And my own personality and mental health has just gone downhill so much, to the point where people are saying to me, like, we can see that you're not happy here anymore. This is your last week at this company that you're working for. How does that feel? For me, it feels like just a sense of freedom again, to be honest. It's a little bit scary because I did have a job to go into, but I don't know if that's going to happen now because of certain circumstances that are going on. So yeah, I might be unemployed as of Friday, but I always figure it out. I always fall on my feet. And I've been through much worse than these twats here. So I'll just keep it moving. Isn't it?
It's so funny. Like, you can get really het up and be quite desperate about keeping a job. But the thing is,
it's not 9 times out of 10, mental health.
No, 9 times out of 10, you figure it out. It's like, I ain't worked for 3 weeks, but we're all right because I had a few quid saved. Worst case scenario is I'd have to dip into my money that I've made off OnlyFans. I don't want to do that because that's for the company. So there's no way I'm going to do that. But I've signed up to an agency and I will do whatever work I can do. I've got PSV license. I've got a HGV license. Just fine. You're too powerful of a person. Your energy is too powerful to get caught up with that. They can't suffocate me. No, it's not going to happen. But listen, this is part 1 of your story, because I know I'll definitely be back. I've got loads of stuff to tell you. Yeah, man. Listen, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thanks, man. Listen, guys, it's Trucker Babe. Check her out. Instagram, follow her. It's just Trucker Babe, isn't it? At Instagram. Yeah, _Trucker Babe _. Boom. And TikTok as well. Same sort of thing on there.
Same sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Ex Trucker Babe X, yeah.
Yeah, check her out. And if you are that way inclined, check out the OnlyFans or True Fans, whatever it is. Anyway, it's been awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. See you soon.